There are 5 hard ops features that I use every single day in my modeling workflow, and it can literally cut your modeling time more than half. So in this quick video, I'm going to reveal the ones that I use daily, and I'm going to show you exactly how they all work. Let's get started. And by the way, if you're ready to dive deeper into hard ops and you want to make your workflow about 8 times quicker, check out our hard ops and box cutter program in the link in the top of the description or in the pinned comment. That'll teach you how to use all the tools, all the operations, and it'll show you how to use it practically with a full modeling project as well. So that way your workflow is about, again, 8 times faster. So when you install hard ops, the first one I want to show you is the queue menu. Now the queue menu is basically where all the tools and operations are hosted. So there's a few common ones we use in here like sharpen, bevel, modifiers, operations, things like that. But this is where you're going to find all the different functions within hard ops. And this is just going to make your workflow a bit more streamlined. So instead of going here to add modifier, for example, then clicking through a bunch of different menus, you could, for example, press Q and then quickly add the modifier that way. You could also quickly add in a bevel, so you don't have to actually add in a bevel modifier and change all the settings. You could also go in here and sharpen the object. That's a topic for a different time. And you can go in here and do all these different operations that would usually take multiple clicks within Blender. And you might not think it's a big deal, but this adds up over time. When you're clicking dozens of times and you can condense that down into 1 or 2, you start saving hundreds of hours, over the years. Now I'm going to quickly show you some of the more common operations that you're going to use here in the queue menu. So let's say, for example, I was running a boolean operation, right? Now with hard ops, you can obviously shift click on another object and you can press Control and minus on the number pad. You can also press Control and plus to run a union, and Control and star is going to run an intersection. Now, I don't really use the number pad much anymore. I personally prefer to press Q and then go here into the booleans, and you can actually go through these and quickly switch between all the different operations. So the default one is different. So you can actually see that right here. So you're going to be using that like 80% of the time. But if you want to cycle through different booleans here, you can actually go to the booleans panel. You can go to difference here. And if you want to, cycle between the different ones, you can actually just hold Control and just cycle through these, or just select them manually. So you have an inset boolean. This is usually very difficult to achieve in vanilla Blender. You have your slice operation, you have your union operation, and then difference operation all in that panel as well. And also, if you want to quickly cycle between the different booleans, you can press Q, and then you can go to Shift Bool. This is going to show up in a new menu because we're working with the cutter here specifically. So I can actually press Q, Shift Bool, and then scroll up on the mouse wheel. It's even quicker that way, so I can quickly cycle between the different Boolean modes. I want to quickly show you one more thing you can do here. If you have multiple Booleans, say I had a Boolean here, and then I had a Boolean over here, you can actually select the main object here, and then you can go into the queue menu. And again, the queue menu is contextual. It updates dynamically depending on the object you have selected and the context behind it. In this case, a Boolean is going to have a different context than the base mesh here. That's why the menu is going to look physically different, because we could shift the Booleans, whereas here it's a little bit different, right? Now if I select the main object here, what I can actually do is click on Ever Scroll and then scroll up on the mouse wheel. That'll scroll between the different Booleans we're running, right? And then I can actually select that specific Boolean. I can change it, I can move it around and do whatever else I need to do. So basically, this queue menu is going to streamline your creation and your modifications on the mesh without, interrupting your modeling workflow. It's very intuitive, very quick, and it's very convenient for quick prototyping, especially in a non-destructive workflow. All right, the third feature I want to show you here is the Smart Apply feature. Now, this is going to allow you to quickly apply the modifiers that you would normally have to apply manually. Let me show you. So for example, on this object right here, notice I have one Boolean, which is the slice operation. Notice how I have a little slice right there. That is the first Boolean, and the second one is this Boolean here on the side. And then we have a bevel modifier just to kind of highlight the edges a bit better. And then we have a mirror modifier to mirror to the other side of the object, right? Now, instead of applying all these operations manually, applying this one, then applying this one to get access to the geometry, instead, especially if you have a lot of modifiers, you can press Q, you can go to operations, and then go to smart apply. This is going to apply stuff like your booleans, your mirror modifiers, stuff like that, but it's going to keep the auto smooth. It's also going to keep the bevel. There's never a need to apply your bevel. And it's also going to keep any weighted normals if you have a weighted normal modifier applied. So this is a very quick way to quickly apply your booleans, your mirrors, things like that in just a single click. Now, the more complex your model is, say you have 50 modifiers, it's going to be way quicker to use that smart apply than to apply everything manually, because in vanilla Blender, the only option you really have is the Control A visual geometry to mesh feature, and that will unfortunately apply everything. So this again is why we use add-ons to make this workflow easier. Alright, the next setting I want to show you is the interactive mirror tool. Now, before I show you that, guys, if you want to learn our full hard ops and box cutter workflow, this will make your workflow on average about 8 times faster. That's over thousands of hours of using this tool. It makes our workflow roughly 8 times faster. So a 100-hour project will become about 12 hours. If you want to learn our full hard ops and box cutter workflow, you can grab our training in the link in the top of the description or in the pinned comment. It goes over every single tool, how to use it, and then also how to complete a modeling project using those tools. So again, if you want to learn that workflow, check out the link in the top of the description or in the pinned comment. So the interactive mirror is very useful because the mirror modifier inside of Blender is very clunky, very annoying, and I'm going to show you what I mean. Say, for example, I had an object, right? And I wanted to mirror this object over across another object. There's a few different ways to do this, but the easiest one is to select that object, right? Shift click on the object you want to mirror over, and then inside of hard ops, you can press Alt and X. That is the interactive mirror command. And right when I do that, you're going to see there's a mode right here for modifier. That simply means mirror. So I don't know why it's called modifier, but it's just the mirror. And we can leave all of this alone up here. We're going to click this button. It's a bit counterintuitive. You think you want to mirror to this side, but it's actually the side you're mirroring from. So we're going to click this button and it's going to mirror right over that main object. Now, alternatively, what you can do is you can mirror over the 3D cursor. Notice the 3D cursor is positioned right here in the center. So what I could actually do is I could press Alt X and then I could go up here to this menu. This is the advanced menu. And then all you have to do is choose the pivot point. Instead of the active origin, you can choose the cursor. So in this case, it's going to do the exact same thing, but say the cursor was over here somewhere, right? Now if I try to mirror this with Alt X, notice the pivot point is over that cursor. So I use this sometimes, it kind of depends, but most of the time I just keep this advanced setting turned off and then I just shift click on the object that I want to mirror over. Now you can also do additional things like a bisect, for example. So I could go in here and I could bisect the object. I rarely use these features, just kind of showing you what you can do here. And then you have, a few other options, which will, for example, you mirror it and then it will apply the modifier simultaneously. So for example, if I shift click on here and then I go to modifier and apply, and then I do that, it's going to actually apply that mirror modifier automatically. Notice I have access to this, whereas beforehand, if I run that mirror with the normal operation, we actually don't have that modifier applied. Now again, you're probably going to use these other settings here maybe 5% of the time. I don't really think it's worth going deep into each of them. I'd rather you get the general workflow down, be more advanced in the basics, and then you can kind of work your way down. And that's kind of what our more advanced trainings go into the more specific features. But that's the bare basics of the interactive mirror modifier 90% of the time. That's why I only want to focus on the big idea, right? 90% of the time, you're either going to be mirroring over itself. So say, for example, I had a Boolean and I just wanted to mirror over that actual object. You're either going to be mirroring over itself, right? So we're just going to click this button. That'll basically mirror over itself. Or you're going to mirror over another object, in which case you're going to shift click on that object, Alt X, and then the mirror that way. That is what you're going to be using 90% of the time. It is not every single feature in the mirror, but since you're going to be using this most of the time, that's what I want to present here in this video. All right, I've decided to save the best for last in this fifth and final feature, although that's not all the features. Obviously, this is one of my favorites because it has to do with booleans, and you're going to be using booleans a ton. So again, to activate the box cutter feature, we're going to press Alt and W, and I just turned it off. Alt W again to turn it on. Now, if you press the D key, there's going to be a bunch of different menus here. I'll be completely honest with you. The only one I really use in this menu is the default one, or this one, which is the N-gon cutter, right? Bunch of different settings. I prefer to do these in a bit of a different way. But for example, this one is just a regular Boolean cut. I can do a circular Boolean like this. I can do a square Boolean like that. Or I can do an N-gon Boolean where I can actually cut a shape, kind of like that, right? Now I'm just going to use the basic one here. What I can actually do is I can draw out my Boolean, right? But you can also bevel this and do different operations to that Boolean that you're using. So check this out. If I press the B key, that is going to activate a bevel, and I can scroll up or I can scroll down to adjust that. I can also press the Q key and just activate that one area right there. And then if I press the Q key again, it'll give a more round bevel like that. And then all I have to do is double click to lock that in, or just press the Enter key. Then you're gonna have a shape like that. And what you can also do is now you can go into hard ops, you can press the Q key, then you can go to ever scroll, which again I already showed you earlier in the video, and you can do some pretty cool stuff in here. One thing that I like to do personally is do an operation called cutting the cutter. This allows you to quickly create shapes that would normally be a bit more time consuming in Blender. So for example, since this Boolean is removing this entire portion, right? What would happen if I removed part of the Boolean? Well, it would just re-reveal the portion here. So for example, if I go in and I cut the Boolean, since this is no longer affecting the main mesh because I removed it, it's going to re-reveal a piece of the mesh just like that. So you can quickly get in here and make like different shapes, different designs very quickly and very easily. Now, another thing that I like to do is, say for example, I wanted to chamfer the top of this edge right here. Unfortunately, I can't do that because I don't have access to the geometry. I have a Boolean. So what I can do is I can apply the Boolean and then do it that way. The issue with that is it's non-destructive. If I want to move the Boolean now, I can't because I applied it. So you can actually do instead is you can go here to your Boolean operation. You can go into face mode on that Boolean. And if you press the Q key, what you can do is you can go in here and then control click on mark. What that will do is run a reverse bevel in the opposite direction, and it will give you the same exact effect, but check this out. Now I can actually move this around because I'm not applying the Boolean, I'm just using the existing non-destructive Boolean. Hopefully that makes sense. And then again, you can do all sorts of stuff in here. You could, turn off that bevel if you want, because that's actually, it's one of these right here. That's actually a bevel modifier. So now you actually have full control over the size of the bevel at any point in time. And then we have our quad bevel right here, which I can also adjust. And then we have another bevel right here. These are named a bit strangely in the stack, but you have all the different bevel modifiers here that you can adjust, or you can just press the Q key. You can go to bevel and then just scroll. If you go to a shift, and you can actually kind of adjust some of the settings here. And then if you hold the control and you scroll down, you can actually adjust that one. I could scroll down again, adjust that one, hold control and scroll down, or scroll up this time, and then I can adjust that one. So just hold control, scroll up and scroll down, and you can affect different areas of that Boolean, giving you a full non-destructive workflow, which is going to save you a ton of time and just make life a lot easier when you're modeling. So that's it, guys. Those are my 5 favorite features inside of HardOps and Box Cutter. Obviously, this is nowhere near the entirety of the tool. There is so much more you can do with these tools. I just wanted to show you some of my favorites here in this video. Now, if you want to learn the entire hard ops and box cutter workflow, including how to use them in a practical modeling exercise, make sure you check out our hard ops and box cutter program in the link in the top of the description or in the pinned comment. This is going to make your workflow about 8 times faster. So if you're spending a few hours a week in Blender, this is a no-brainer. You're going to save a hell of a lot of time, and every single person watching this video should be using these tools. There's no excuse not to. So again, I'll link that training in the top of the description or the link in the pinned comment. And if you want to learn a different set of tools in hard ops and box cutter, then check out this video right here.